Hello everyone and welcome back to the Blackfoot Book Club and another from my Essential Film Reviews collection. Thank you so much for being there and thank you for returning. We're now going to return ourselves to 2022 and Blonde, directed by Andrew Dominik. Following the re-release of my original thoughts on New Zealand-born filmmaker Andrew Dominik's second and third films, The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford and Killing Them Softly, I had the perverse pleasure last evening of finally seeing his latest offering, a bleak, dark and disturbing dramatisation of the cruelly short life of Marilyn Monroe. Being as I am 3 months late to the release party, I guess I've missed the furore and the huge split this film would no doubt have generated in its audience. Based on the 2000 novel of the same name written by Joyce Carol Oates, Blonde may very well indeed see Marilyn Monroe constantly in virginal white, but this film is darker than black and as bleak and disturbing as Killing Them Softly a decade ago and as beautifully surreal and visually arresting as his Jesse James tale from 2007. Blonde is a magnificent film, but it's perhaps not the film everyone wants to see. I drew immediate parallels with last year's Elvis, directed by Baz Lurhmann, as well as, heavily ironically, the Pablo Larrain directed Jackie in 2016. All are arguably seen as brands and icons rather than the flesh and blood human beings behind the facade of the celebrity image. Here, a spectacular Ana de Armas laments, "That thing up there on the screen isn't me." More than this, much more than this, is the depiction of the creation of the character of Marilyn Monroe, the industry behind it, and the broken, abused, raped and destroyed human being who just wanted to be Norma Jean Baker. Ana de Armas' portrayal of the horribly exploited little girl lost is remarkable, and time again she paints a vivid picture of a misunderstood young lady referring to her creation in the third person. Marilyn Monroe is someone else, her construct, her character, a creation she almost wills into existence with her trusty makeup artist Whitey, until her will is broken through reprehensible violence and dehumanising sexual abuse. For Blonde isn't an easy watch, at all. You will be nearly an hour into this near 3-hour film before the blonde bombshell is recognisably Marilyn Monroe, and more importantly, genuinely and recognisably happy. Another hour will pass before you see a remarkable collection of truly joyous scenes as Marilyn celebrates life, love and a honeymoon with her third husband, author and playwright Arthur Miller. Marilyn calls him Daddy, as she does with every previous lover or husband, and it's an easy yet disturbing link to the through line of the film and of Marilyn seeking a reconnection with an abusive and psychotic mother and an absent father she's never met and whom only communicates with her via narrated letters. Marilyn is so alone within her own life, which quixotically isn't even that. It's the life of a movie star named Marilyn Monroe and a character Norma Jean Baker inhabits in arguably the first real distinctive world of celebrity fame and celebrity culture, and whether it's a famous playwright or an ex-centre fielder for the New York Yankees, she just wants to be known as Norma Jean and live peacefully and quietly within the American dream. Ably supported by an ensemble cast headed by Adrian Brody as the playwright, Arthur Miller, and Bobby Cannavale named ridiculously as ex-athlete rather than the Yankees legend Joe DiMaggio, Ana de Armas truly steals the headline show as she must. One scene stands out from a mighty performance, a screen test for the 1951 film Don't Bother to Knock. Ana de Armas takes us from a shy and supremely well-read Norma Jean through the real talented actress that was Marilyn Monroe and back again, twisting through a spellbinding and thunderous screen test. Sobbing throughout, de Armas cries her way through the entire film, and never more so than here, as yet again, and so early in the career of Marilyn Monroe, no one saw or appreciated Norma Jean Baker. They only sought to exploit her creation. Talking of creation, this is an Andrew Dominik creation. Blonde truly is as brutally stark as Killing Them Softly, and as bewitching and beautiful as the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. The American dream is once again replaced by an often surreal dream world or dream state, scenes merging and blurring the boundaries of the story and the cinematic historical story, that of life and real life, Norma Jean and Marilyn, beautiful innocence and brutal exploitation. Although the film is very visual, it also relies upon a scrapbook of memorabilia on screen and many recreations and homages to Marilyn's most iconic poses and situations. Director Dominic has once again re-teamed with Nick Cave and Warren Ellis, who contribute a quite wonderful musical score that often reminded me, and no doubt me alone, of an entirely different era altogether, and the 1980s synthesizer sounds of Vangelis. Filmed and presented in black and white, there are numerous changes to a more colourful late 1950s and early 1960s, and all whilst the director enjoys changing the aspect ratio of the film to fit the time period, be it 4.3 full screen or the more wider, colourful and vibrant widescreen shots later in the film. Many scenes stand out, nearly all of which blend the surreal with the monstrous, the human beauty and the inhumane exploitation. As noted above, the screen test scene from 1951 is astounding, as are the surreal scene segues into a burning house, the overhead shots of another record-breaking film premiere, and Marilyn, alone and lost on the red carpet, as well as within her own world once more. The juxtapositions become the incredible highs and the heartbreaking lows of a life lived in the spotlight of unbelievable fame. From Norma Jean transforming into Marilyn Monroe, her famous, virginal white again, billowing skirt, through to the abhorrent abuse from her husband, the honeymoon with another, and the illicit rendezvous with a sitting President of the United States of America. Here, a human being is ferried to her American dream, nothing but a piece of meat for sexual gratification, and she may well appear to be the famous Marilyn Monroe, but she isn't, not now. Nor is she simply Norma Jean. Not anymore. Blonde is a difficult, heart-wrenching watch, beautifully directed through the brutal and often surreal lens of Andrew Dominic, and I recommend it to you. And that was Blonde, directed by Andrew Dominic, presented to you by Stephen Blackford, writer and reader of pointless yet spoiler-free film reviews since 2012. Hooray! And I'll leave you in peace and in solidarity. And I thank you so much for watching. Peace, everyone.